hilarious.
Something we're not going to get fined for.
That's exactly what well. I really don't know what to play. I'm supposed to play something that we won't get fined for, but I don't know what that music is. Let's see, YouTube. We'll go to YouTube and figure this out. Oh yeah, that's no. Yeah, that's royalty free right there. You can tell because it's not good. Yeah, that's not good. We're not doing that. Nope, I don't like that. Let's see what this is. Almost has like an Asian feel to it. Oh. We're going with dance music today.
All right.
I just searched up no copyright music that came up.
That's fun. That's helping my day get better.
We'll drop. Boom. This is terrible.
We need some zooming or something.
You want to scoot your chair a little bit closer? To that
Sure.
microphone?
There we go.
Morning.
I like this music.
Look at that audio library from SoundCloud.
Awesome. I mean, I kind of hate it too. But
Yeah. No, it's not good. But okay.
all right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Church Chat.
We will relieve your ears of this pain.
I have forgotten my phone. It's my pocket is full, so I thought it was in there, but no,
Nope.
it's keys and gum and charger
Charger.
that's charging and nothing. So
There we go. And so what I did is I just went to YouTube and I typed copyright-free music, and that's what came up.
I figured out our problem.
What is our problem?
So, warning, folks, we're gonna take you on a little ride here.
Oh, we're very high up.
We're very high up. So
We're
down
gonna get
we go.
down low.
Down we go.
Do.
A little bit of a ride there for you this morning. Just think you're at an amusement park because they're all closed.
What?
Everything is canceled. Everything is cool that you want.
Oh my.
Ain't no party like a COVID party.
The COVID party don't happen.
All right, welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. It hasn't been the best morning, but it hasn't been the worst morning either. I went for a bike ride this morning, so that was
very
nice.
nice,
Well, So Father Ashmore had the Mass this morning because I don't have the confirmation Mass, but
You'll can celebrate this evening.
I will celebrate, and he'll be MC. So
exactly.
I
I'll
just
be a lowly server. It's okay.
And you might be on your own. I don't think John going to be here tonight?
I think he will be. He told me
Okay.
yes. So.
Okay. Well, John is usually, if you're wondering where is John, he's not usually here on Wednesday mornings or Wednesdays. That's his free day. Although we should probably try to get one more Donart episode before he leaves.
We should.
I don't know.
What is his last day? We need to talk to him about that.
Has he heard from a school yet?
He has heard from us.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Excellent.
And I believe the seminarians have their stagrimage next week.
It's like a staycation, but
yeah, exactly.
Stagrimage.
It's not nearly as exciting.
You went on a stagrimage, right?
I did.
That was a wonderful. Wasn't the most wonderful trip of your entire existence?
It really was. So I have a good.
Tell us about the pilgrimage.
So we always do pilgrimages.
Who is we?
As seminarians. So,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to clarify these things.
Exactly.
There,
When I was a seminarian, we would often go on pilgrimages together. This was led by the Archbishop, and it was one of his opportunities to get to know all of us. So he would spend a week with us. We'd go see holy sites. We'd maybe read something together. We'd consider something. It was a really beautiful experience. The bishop made sure that each one of us sat by him on the bus for a period of time so he could have a discussion with us and talk over things. And really, I always say that out of all the dioceses that I'm aware of, we get the most FaceTime as seminarians with the Archbishop.
FaceTime, like actual literal FaceTime, not
literal
like
FaceTime,
on the FaceTime.
Mm-hmm, exactly. The only one that rivals is probably Omaha, and that's where Archbishop's friend is, Archbishop Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
And they've known each other for a very long time.
Is he a St. Louis guy?
He's a St. Louis guy, exactly. So Archbishop Lucas and Archbishop Naumann have been friends for a very long time. And Archbishop Lucas actually started a pilgrimage following on Archbishop Naumann. So Archbishop Naumann was a trailblazer in this, one might say.
Nice.
Now, I always loved the pilgrimages, and most seminarians really did enjoy them too. But there was one part of the pilgrimage which was always less than ideal. That was the bus ride. I didn't mind the bus ride. I don't have high aspirations in life. The bus ride is okay. Some of my friends, however, hated the bus ride.
Mm-hmm.
And so they thought that they could...
Anyone that you want to call out in particular?
No. I won't do that sort of thing. But they thought that we could have a nice little stagrimage in which we stayed around here. We didn't have to go on a bus the whole time. So they suggested this, and I thought it was a terrible idea. Because what ended up happening, I told them would happen, which was that we ended up just riding a bus around the Kansas City area, which was a lot less exciting than going to, Arizona or Colorado or something on a bus.
So he just wanted to kind of sit around and pray and read and socialize.
He wanted to have a lot more time to spending with the opportunity to spend with each other and not be on a bus. That was his prime goal. I don't want to be on a bus. We ended up being on the bus just as much, if not more, than other pilgrimages.
Because you went up to St. Mary's.
Yeah, and then we visited other...
we lost our...
I just pressed that button.
Yeah, you got to press it twice.
That's weird. Okay.
Well, once is to take it off.
Right. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I pressed
once is
it.
to record.
I thought the light came on and everything. So, we went up to St. Mary. We went all over the place.
These are lovely pictures of us, though.
We went all over the place. And we went down to Mound City. We went down to different parishes. We went all the way out to Marysville.
Wow.
We did a lot of driving. So
now they're doing another stagrimage, but
I think this one is going to be a lot more stagrimage-ish. It's not going to be nearly as, how would we say?
Painful?
Painful? Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not going to say anything about that. But I think it's going to be a little bus ride-ish, yeah. We're not going to spend nearly as much time on the road. I'm not going to it. But
because you're not a seminarian. You're a priest.
Anymore. This is true.
Yep.
So
Father Kent and Father Ashmore, here we are, back for church chat. So how are you all doing? What are you doing? Are you doing staycations? Are you doing anything? This was supposed to be my vacation week this week. I was supposed to be at my big board game convention this week, and not surprisingly, it's a big event, 65,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not COVID friendly.
No.
So kind of like Comic-Con was canceled. This is in that same realm, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so here I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not doing a staycation. I'm just doing a stay working.
Mm-hmm. Stay. Yeah. Stay labor.
Stay labory.
Stay labor. He's a stay laborer. Like a day laborer, but a stay laborer.
Right. So are you, is anyone having, but I know that's, I'm trying not to complain too much because it's very minor compared to what many people have had to cancel and,
Certainly.
missing graduations and missing their senior year, sports season, all those kinds of things. Those are real tough. So, this is minor. But this is for me, this is as real as COVID has gotten, I suppose, like what did it cost? What does it cost me personally? Besides, of course, people not being at mass and those kinds of strange things. But
Right.
as far as like events or whatever, this is where it has cost me personally, I suppose. But I know that people were planning some international trips that aren't getting to go and
Yeah.
everything. And I
That
thank
happened to
God
me in
I've already-
March.
What?
That happened to me in March.
You did, right?
Yeah,
You
I
were
was supposed to go to Rome. I
That's
did
right,
not.
right. And that's a much bigger deal than Gen Con, so.
Well, depends on your perspective on things.
Well, and thank God I went on my pilgrimage to the Holy Land last October because there were some, all thousands and thousands of people were planning this trip of a lifetime.
Right.
And,
And thank goodness I didn't go to Rome too,
Yes,
because I was very close. I had to call it off 2 days beforehand.
right. This was what day were you leaving?
March 4th, I think.
March 4th. Can you imagine going to Italy on March 4th?
And the problem was it rose so quickly. So 4 or 5 days beforehand, we were like, it's not looking great in Italy, but we can do this.
Sure,
No problem.
yeah, right.
And then it just exponentially went through the roof. And
Yeah.
we had to put the brakes on that. And if I had gone, then I probably would have been sent back, and then I would have had to have been on quarantine for however long period.
Right.
But we are here. Did not happen.
Yes, did not happen. But you did a staycation.
I did, yes. I went down to the Lake of the Ozarks to not to Captain Jack's or whatever that place was. It was over
Right.
but to a lake house that was there with a friend of mine. We were there for, 3 of us were there for 3 days. So, three of us were there for like 7 days. So.
And then you did go there. I think you went there on Memorial Day too, when
Yes,
the
very
Captain
briefly.
Jack's
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
happened, or
exactly.
whatever. But he was not part of that.
No. So
Um,
I'm not really the Captain Jack's type, one might say.
Captain Jack will keep you tonight. There's a Billy Joel song. A lot of nature walks here by the mountains.
No,
Fabian Solano.
he's my brother.
Okay. It's like there ain't no mountains around here.
Yeah, my brother lives in Colorado.
Yeah, so a lot of hikers. That's good. Yeah, so I went on a bit little bike ride this morning. A very
nice.
little bike ride. I think I need more air in my tires, and yeah. But I came up to deliver the computer to live stream for the mass, and then
Yeah.
went back and then did a little bit of exercising on my treadmill as well. So tried to get some exercise done this morning, and then I forgot that we did try to do staff prayer on
Yeah, this
Wednesdays and Fridays at 9:15.
Something new we're trying.
It is, and it is not in my brain yet. So it's at 9:15 in the morning, which is nice. We're trying to model because our school teachers do that same kind of thing before school, and kind of modeling that same kind of thing for us to meet together as a staff to do a Zoom prayer. It's on my calendar, but it's not on my brain yet. So
Yeah, I need to get on my calendar.
yeah, it's on your brain though.
Yeah.
So
What can I say? If we can get in both places, that's ideal.
I mean, it's really more important that it's on the brain and not on the calendar than it is on the calendar and not on the brain. Because if it's on your brain, you actually attend.
Right.
If it's on your
Do
calendar,
you remember
you
that
might
cartoon Pinky
miss.
in the Brain?
I do.
I'm
It's
having a callback to the song. What was the song?
Pinky and the Brain or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a little after my time.
And I think it was a little before my time. Like,
Mm.
I don't think I actually saw it that much because it would have been. Oh, that's not true. It's 1995. Never mind. That is not before my time.
That is before your time.
No, it's not.
As a 2-year-old?
But it's 1995 to 1998, so I would have been. So
Yeah, but it's like
tad before.
Yeah,
my
it's like
time.
middle school humor, I think.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Middle school, high school. Well, maybe like 5th, 6th grade.
Okay.
I think is Pinky in the Brain. It's in the same realm as Ren and Stimpy,
Oh, really?
if I recall.
I thought Ren and Stimpy was inappropriate.
I
I don't know.
yes. Well, it's just There was in that period of like gross animation that I really didn't care for.
Oh, okay. Brain, 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 and stop.
Get under that 7 seconds or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember it too much, but
Yeah.
I just remember that intro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I ever saw an episode of Pinky and the Brain, but maybe it's more in the Animaniacs realm.
I think it's more in that realm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that animation looked pretty good.
Mhm.
Ren and Stimpy was that kind of gross animation that was going on for a
Right,
while.
right. Almost similar to, like, not Picasso, but
Yeah.
it seems there's almost something
Perspective
cubist
was,
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for that at all, but I did enjoy the Animaniacs and Tiny Toons.
Okay.
So, but so what else are you doing with your life? What other questions might you have? Remind me.
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing with your life?
Like, tell
I'm
us.
gonna go and rethink my life. Attack of the Clones. Where's John? I've gotten more Attack of the Clones references on this show than. Reminder that we're doing a news segment each Friday, and it lands on Friday. That's the plan anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually made it this Friday, English and Spanish. So that's on Friday. But I want if people want to know, the Adoration Chapel is open. So I want to get that information out there. People have been wondering about that. It is open for folks. If you want to know the code, just send me a note and we'll get you the code.
Great. If you can, please clean up after yourself.
Well, that's kind of the prerequisite. Prerequisite. There are signs on the door of things that we ask you to do when you're in there, and part of it is to wipe down everything that you've touched, basically. And we've removed the comfy chairs, which is unfortunate because I really like praying on those comfy chairs, but we just thought those might be harder to wipe down and everything.
Yeah, certainly.
So, but the chairs are there, the kneelers are there. I think there's spots for 4 people socially distant. Now it is a smaller room, but the idea is that generally there's not more than 1 or 2 people in there
This is
at
true.
any time. So we're thinking it's going to be fairly safe. We also want to open up, and we've talked about, we haven't put into action yet, an adoration time with the Blessed Sacrament exposed, because
Right.
currently we have the Blessed Sacrament in the tabernacle. Now for me, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, it's still in the presence of Jesus, so if there's a gold door or a glass door in front of me, it doesn't matter to me so much. But I know that people do like having the exposition of the Blessed Sacrament as well. So our Adoration Chapel currently does not have exposition. I'd like to get to that point, but to get to that point, we have to have someone there at all times.
Right.
You do not have
Right.
to have someone there at all times if you have the tabernacle there and the Blessed Sacrament is not exposed.
Certainly.
You also have to have more candles, if I recall, if you have a monstrance. I think you have to have 4 candles when the Blessed Sacrament is exposed.
I'd have to double check the rubrics on that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
And you should have 1 candle for the tabernacle, but I think it's 4 candles for the monstrance. So that just takes some extra planning and consistency of people being there. I know that, like at Most of Your Heart in Christ the King, they have, I think, perpetual adoration, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a
They do
week.
at St. Joe, I believe, too, don't
Yeah.
they?
But that takes
A
that
commitment.
almost takes a full-time person to organize.
Right. It
and
takes
to-
a large commitment on the part of the community.
And usually like the coordinator, because if someone doesn't show up, often that person gets brought in and starts calling. My parents go to adoration. My parents would go to adoration pretty much every day. My mom still does. My dad is deceased, so but they would frequently get called at Christ the King because they knew that they were available and they were retired and they could come in at pretty much any hour. But frequently they would get called because someone couldn't make their hour, and so then they went in to cover the hour.
Right.
So,
Ideally, you should have 2 people for each hour.
true. Yeah.
And then every person makes that commitment for that hour.
Right.
And you put your schedule around that. Obviously, life gets in the way, so sometimes that makes it difficult, but we really do need, if we were to do so, 2 people for every hour who'd be able to commit themselves
Right.
to those hours.
Which I'd love to do.
Oh, certainly.
I just don't. We're not there yet. But we're planning on hoping to do like an evening or like a 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock kind of thing of
Yeah.
exposition in the church where people could have socially distant time. We're talking about Wednesday evening possibly to coincide with our School of Religion night, and so people could come and spend time in prayer before or after, or if people are not in the class, then during. So
Right.
there'd be some opportunity there.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So we're working on making that happen. Before we get too far afield, we're pretty far afield already. Let me say hi to my nieces here. So let me go over to that shot here. You're not in the shot today because it's facing this
I
way.
appreciate
so
it.
You can have a little break. So
It's so oppressive.
let's go over to the ash cam and hello. I want to say hello to my nieces. Hello. I don't get to see you on this show very often anymore, only once a week. I don't have my phone here to know if you're watching or not, but I hope that you are having a great day. It's gotten cooler out, so it's good swing weather. So swing away, I think, is your opportunity now to get outside and have some fun outside and to go to the swing and play on the deck and all those things. So, and it was really fun to see you last week and for the baptism. So that was really exciting this past Saturday. So hope you have a great day. And hello, Dryling girls. I hope that you are also doing well and getting some good walks in this beautiful weather. And so have a great day. So shout out to y'alls.
Come swing away, come swing away, come swing away with me.
Come swing away. Very good. Are you doing any reading?
Yes, but most of it's not in English right now. So
What languages are you reading at this point?
mostly Latin and Spanish.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm trying to get better at my Latin. My Latin's pretty good, but I don't have a fantastic reading capability because most people, when they study Latin, they look at it as a puzzle, and every sentence they're putting all the pieces together. But I'm trying to get to where I can just read it, so I've been trying to do a lot more reading to get that mind capacity in there. So
Good.
Why? Because I'm a nerd.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
We're live. Good. How are you? Good morning. Do you want to say hi to everyone, to the world? Good morning.
Good morning, good shepherd.
Hello.
We miss everybody.
Are you preparing the lunch and everything?
Yeah, we're working hard.
All right. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, it's exciting to get the kids back.
Oh, I agree.
Which we are working on the plan here. That's the big conversation. I know the teachers and our principal and McGuffs, they've been working hard on trying to figure out what's the best. And lots of people have opinions on this matter,
Absolutely.
and some of them very strong opinions.
You can't please everyone.
No, we're not going to make everybody happy. So we are trying. That's part of my my nature is I want everyone to be happy, and I try to do what I can, and that sometimes is my downfall. But that is just part of for good and for ill. That's who I am. I'm a people pleaser. So
And I want to please no people. I'm just joking.
So I don't like it that people are going to be very angry with whatever we decide. So one way or the other, people are going to be really upset, and we say, well, we shouldn't be at school at all. Oh, we shouldn't be at home at all. It's a lose-lose proposition. So,
Right.
But we are trying to make as many people happy as possible, offering the online possibilities, offering in-school possibilities, trying to keep everybody safe, all those things. And studies keep coming out. Boy, did you see that on Facebook, that explosion of that thing of the frontline doctors thing?
Oh, yeah, that seemed very imprudent. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know.
All I know is I want nothing to do with that.
No, I don't either. But it was being shared like crazy. But they've all got this this thought, and apparently they're doctors, and I don't know them at all, of course, but they've got degrees and titles to go with it. So
Right. I'm just going to say no comment to all. I don't know anything about it, really.
But anyway, you got those people on this side, you got people on the other side, and there's so much we just don't know about this virus.
There is this thing called communication,
yes.
and we don't seem to be doing it very well.
No.
So
So
where can you find books for learning Latin? Oh, the good ones? So one of the best books is called Lingua Latina, which just means the Latin language. That is basically a Latin storybook, and it starts out with very, very easy grammar and easy vocabulary, and as the stories go on, it gets more and more complex. So that's one of the best Latin language books. A lot of people learn with the wheel-lock method. A lot of people learn with the wheel-lock method, and that's a pretty good method. I don't think it produces a lot of people who actually can read Latin well. I think it produces people who know the rules, but maybe not know how to actually function in a Latin way. And then two other good books are Collins' primer on ecclesiastical Latin. That'll give you a lot of good ecclesiastical vocabulary. And then another book is that's very, very good. It's called Latin, an Intensive Course. And that one's very good. It does a lot of drills to where you do the conjugations and declensions over and over and over again, so you get them in your mind. So that one has some of the best activities, but those are my 4 suggestions. So,
In the seminary nowadays, does everybody study Latin?
it depends on which seminary and which program you're in. So generally, everybody will take at least 2 semesters.
Okay.
But it can depend according to pre-theology. If not, if you're a transferring student, that may be excised from the curriculum. But if you are a standard student, generally, you would take at least 2 semesters. They would encourage more. When I was at Kenrick, you had to take 2 semesters of Latin, and if you had taken 2 semesters of Latin, you then had to take 2 semesters of Greek. But they've since changed those rules. So there was a time when everybody going through seminary would have studied at least 2 semesters of Latin and 2 semesters of Greek. But I think those rules have changed now.
Okay.
So,
Back in your day.
yeah, exactly.
It was not at all a requirement at Mundelein back in my day. Not at all, and hardly even encouraged. But I took it as an elective.
Yeah.
I think
Which is interesting, because canon law actually says that all seminarians should be well versed in Latin and any other language which is useful for pastoral ministry. That's a direct quote from canon law, and so people just kind of overlooked that for a long time.
Right. So back in my day, back in the dark ages of the seminary, but I enjoyed studying it. So I took Latin, Greek, and Hebrew in the seminary, all as electives. I think Mundelein had more opportunities for electives than Kenrick. It's a bigger school.
Hebrew was an elective that was offered every other year or something like that, and you had to have the right schedule to be able to take it. So
yeah. But I enjoyed all 3, and I'm glad that I have just a foundation in all of them. Now, I haven't studied Latin for a long, long time. But, I mean, even so, and having some familiarity also with Spanish, that helps because they are certainly closer for the most part.
As I say, you just take Latin, you throw in some local languages, you put them in a box, and you just shake them for 2,000 years, and you got Spanish right there.
But yeah, it's very helpful because still things are things still written in Latin, the church documents?
Yeah, all the official church documents are in Latin. So sometimes they put them out in another language first, but then in the Acta Apostolica Sede, they'll put out the official Latin translation. And the official Latin translation is the one that is judged, is actually the magisterial document.
Okay.
So even if you find one in Italian, which they'll often put it out in Italian first, if it contradicts the Latin takes precedence.
I see. Okay. So Latin is, it's still people have sometimes this idea of Latin, it's like this old language. And for the most part, it's a dead language. People don't speak it except for in some, I think, Vatican offices. But it's still a used language and still a useful language for sure, because it was the language of the church for...
It has one of the largest corpuses of reading materials, and probably in all of human existence. When you think about it.
Corpi?
Corpi, yeah. Well, corpus, no, but...
What is the plural of corpus?
It's corpus.
That's why we're talking about Latin.
Yeah, corpus corporis. I'd have to double check on that. Corpus, but I'd have to double check on that. Why don't I want to debate for procedures with COVID? Well, because I'm not an expert on any of these topics, and it would be out of my realm to try to debate on them. So I just try to make prudential judgments according to what the directives that have been given to us are. Yeah,
that's kind of my same thing, because I hear doctors on all kinds of sides, and I don't know. So,
There are some areas that are just not my area of expertise, and I have to respect that.
yeah.
And I think today in our modern age, it's really easy to forget that we are not all experts in every area, because we have this thing called Google, and if we look at Google, we automatically assume that what we find on there is the right answer. But a lot of times, whatever problems or whatever issues we're trying to deal with are a lot more complex than can be described in a couple paragraphs on a website. And so I think it's important just to try to be respectful of our areas of expertise.
Right, and the same thing can be talking, I mean, yeah, respectful like the church too. I mean, people look up something on Google about what the church teaches on this and that, and there is a lot of stuff that's just flat out wrong or not correct and not the way that I would say things or whatever.
Right, right. No, it's not that I don't like experts debating. Experts should debate. I don't like having things shared on Facebook imprudently.
Sure.
That's what I was saying. Why that all seemed really imprudent, because there didn't seem to be. First of all, a lot of the videos were cut and pasted together, so you couldn't actually see what people were saying.
Right.
Often, and so that's not a prudent use of language. That's not a prudent use of these people's words. And we need to be respectful to try to look at all the data they're giving us, rather than just tidbits that fit well on Twitter.
I think what we can say though is I think we are all in agreement that all of the options for schooling this fall are bad options.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not really great options put before us. And I think what is debated at this point is what is the best of the worst? What is the least of many evils or whatever? Because I mean, is it dangerous to send kids to school? I think that's what the doctors are saying, that they could get the teacher sick, they could get their family members sick, they could do all those kind of things. Is it dangerous for kids to stay at home? Yes. Could they get in some serious depression and miss very important social contacts? You know, as the scripture says, it's not good for us to be alone, right? Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of bad answers, and there's not really a great answer. And so I think that's what's being debated a bit, of what is the best answer of the rather poor options that we have before us. Mm-hmm. I think that we are making as prudent, as good decisions as we can. A good shepherd, we are not built for, no school is built for this kind of learning. I mean, so we're all learning on the fly, and any school is built to have in-school instruction. That's why you build a school. Otherwise, if we did not do in-school instruction, then we would not have a building. Mm-hmm. But we have a building that was built for the purpose of instructing kids in a classroom.
Right.
And that is not really possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly. We also need to, I believe, always encourage an environment of respect in these conversations.
Yes.
And often that's lost in the midst of the debate. So
yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. So that's all my thoughts on it.
But
what are you reading?
I picked this book up again. I was reading it several years ago, and I think this was a gift at some point from the Archbishop. The Archbishop gives us a gift each year, usually for Christmas, like a book or something. Mm-hmm. And I think this was one of them, and it's really good. It's called How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization. I think that there is a lot of talk nowadays of I think in the context of people tearing down statues and not knowing the context of what's going on. Right. Like there was the whole thing with Junipero Serra,
yeah,
and tearing down his statue, and there's been some response of, you are missing the context of what's going on. I think there are statues that probably should come down. These are not great examples to have up for us. I mean, I don't think there's any statues to Hitler in Germany, for instance. Mm-hmm. Should we remember that? Yes. Should we build a statue to Hitler? Probably not. or Stalin or Lenin or any of those people that a lot of those statues have been torn down. But I think it's good to remember the context, and I think the Catholic Church is being attacked a lot right now for being racist or being colonial, or all these kinds of things. But so maybe as a contrast to that, to remember the ways that the Catholic Church has contributed to who we are as a people, and how the Catholic Church is really responsible for all of this beauty of like the university system, the hospital system, all these kinds of things that we take for granted, and we think, oh, they just came up. Well, no, it's because of the Catholic Church, of the dignity of the person, and the importance of the intellect and being educated and all those kinds of things.
Right.
That's all Catholic thought, So
exactly.
so maybe as an antidote or as a counter note, I might recommend this book to consider, How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization by Thomas E. Woods.
That's incredible.
So
A lot of people believe, in great error, that human dignity is something that is self-evident. Now, we do believe that human dignity should be in a certain way self-evident.
Right.
But if you look at the history of humanity, in ancient Rome, ancient Greece, there was no such thing as human dignity. Slavery was very common. As a child, if a father had a child, he could leave him out, and it was called putting him out to exposure. And if he didn't want to have that little baby, put out to exposure, and it was okay just to leave the child to die. That was very common in that society. One of the things that marked Christianity was that we wouldn't expose our children, and that's actually commented in an early church document. It's actually commented in a document talking about Christians, that we don't expose our children, whereas Romans do. That is a custom they have. Even the concept of human dignity is a Christian concept, because without God saying that every person is made in his image, and without God being essentially the rule by which all things are judged, what is human dignity? Why do all people have equal human dignity? That's not an easy question to answer if you take God out of the equation and if you take Christ out of the equation. The whole reason why we have that concept is because we are a Christian culture now, whether people like it or not. That's the ideals upon which our Constitution are built are Christian ideals that had been brought into the culture. And if you try to take Christ out of that culture, you try to take Christ and the Christian foundation for them out, then you're going to be having ideals that are disconnected and ultimately are self-refuting. Because why is this person more important? Why is this person equal to this person? Well, this person's stronger, has more money, is smarter. Of course he's not equal. That's how the Romans looked at it. And we can easily go back to that. And we do, frankly, in our culture many times. So even the very rules by which we're judging our society right now are Christian rules, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's very good point. I want to do some reading and research about, because I really don't understand how the United States got slavery in the first place.
Yeah, it was more, I don't want to be on the offensive here too much, but it was certainly more of a Protestant thing than it was a Catholic thing.
Right. Well, that's
But Catholics did allow it, so I'm not saying Catholics are innocent. We're not innocent in least in it, but it was more of a Protestant happening during that time.
But yeah, do you remember how that happened? I want to do some research, because how did we come over here and then bring over Africans?
There was a slave trade already in existence, I believe, and we just took it I don't know all the details of it, but there was a slave trade already existing that we accessed, essentially.
Because I want to do some more, more research about that, how that all developed. Because it was maybe as part of the British, the colonial. So did they have the colonies over in Africa, and then they said these people would be good slaves over here?
I don't know at all.
Yeah.
I know that there was already some culture of slavery already in Africa. So, just like in ancient Rome, in ancient Greece, and even in ancient Europe, tribes would sell slaves to each other and that sort of thing. That was already going on in Africa, and so I think we got into that economy, you might say, and then we exacerbated it to a degree that was just horrendous. Right. And it's something that was awful in the first place. Then we took it to a next level, which was even worse. Right. But I don't know all the history on that. Mm-hmm.
But it is also interesting because the South is where the slavery was, because there wasn't slavery in the North, right? Not really, or
not
much.
really. I mean, there was some traces of it, but not really.
Right.
Mhm.
And of course, the South had the big old plantations and everything.
Right. It's
But
interesting to look into the economics of all that. The southern plantations were convinced that slavery made them a strong economy. And yet, if you look at the facts of it all, the South was an extremely weak economy because of slavery, because they took out people, a large portion of the population, from being able to engage in the economy. And so they had these people who were obviously giving to the economy in some way,
But they weren't participating.
but they
in it.
weren't actually participating.
Interesting.
And so it made it so it was a very weak economy.
Huh.
And that's why the North would have won no matter what. It was a terrible war, but the North had the economy that could sustain a war. The South did not.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Huh.
Because when you give everybody an equal opportunity to engage in the economy generally does better.
Yes.
And
Let's
then
see,
the economy can give back to the people then too.
isn't that the premise of like the stimulus checks that we just received?
Exactly. Mhm.
Is that that's in the government's interest to give money because that money will go back into the economy, which will keep the economy going.
Exactly.
I mean, speaking about staying in your lane, I'm no economist, but
Right. But that's a general concept.
yeah.
And there would be some ways to adjust that a little bit, but it's a really fascinating question. In the church, we talk in social ethics about something called structures of sin. And they are structures in our economy, structures in our culture that perpetuate sin.
Uh-huh.
One of them could be some forms of racism.
Uh-huh.
It could be a structure of sin. Another structure of sin is the abortion industry.
Uh-huh.
Another structure of sin is the pornography industry. Lots of these different
Which you
structures of sin.
talked about. You should, if you missed his homily on Sunday, he very clever too. You never mentioned the P word.
Yeah.
It was good job.
Thank you.
Because it was a
You never want to do that when there's children around.
well,
so-
exactly. But that was very well done and very well handled about chastity and the importance of chastity and how. What was the phrase that you used instead?
Explicit media? or-
Explicit media. Yes,
Mhm.
that was the
Mhm.
good choice of words.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
I got when I was a young priest, I mentioned the P word, and yeah, Monsignor Charles McGlynn, Father Charles McGlynn said, "I don't think it's a good idea to mention that."
Yeah.
So,
Well,
good choice of words.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I use that term, explicit media, because if you know what I'm talking about, you know what
You know
I'm
what I'm talking about. Yep,
Right.
it was,
You know what I
it was
mean?
brilliant. Yeah,
And I don't want a 7-year-old going home and be like, what was that word?
exactly. I mean,
Mhm.
it's the see, that's why you need 8 years of seminary and not 5, because you just come out better formed and better. You know those kind of things. It was very well done. So, because it's something we have to talk about.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it's, as you were saying, it's just everywhere, and we hear confessions all the time, and that is an issue that comes up often. So,
Mhm. Oh, thank you very much, Carly.
and
Actually, to go on this for a quick moment, people often compliment me on my homilies, which is always nice. I
Mhm.
always appreciate kind words. But the best compliment is when I hear that somebody put it into action.
oh,
And I got an email this morning
nice.
from a mother who said that she had a conversation with her son about this very topic.
oh, good.
And she said she's going to talk to her younger son soon about
Wonderful.
the very topic. And that's the best compliment I can
Yes.
receive. When you put it to action, that makes me happiest.
Yes,
So.
awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, so structures of sin. So the explicit media, the abortion, the racism, all those things are structures of sin.
Mhm. And what happens with those is generally, it's not only the sin that's the problem, but because it's a whole structural sinful problem, it also leads to other problems in society. So a question would be, where would our economy be today if we had not aborted so many children in the last 40 years? The structure of sin has that sin, but it also has other effects, one might say.
Right.
Where would the South have been had they gotten rid of slavery and then allowed equal access, even after the war, to all the African Americans who were trying to get into the economy at that point?
Right.
They'd have a much stronger economy, and they wouldn't have had to do more that was building into the structure of sin. Wouldn't have tried to do the Jim Crow laws,
Uh-huh.
because they would have allowed somebody to engage in the economy and then that would have assisted everybody in the economy.
Good points. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's really a fascinating topic, the idea of a structure of sin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Structure of sin. Very good. Yeah. So your preaching was on fire on Sunday. That was good. I didn't know. At first I was like, how? Because I was starting to think, how did we get to chastity from our readings? But then you tied it in about the pearl of great price, and I was like, but sometimes that's true about preaching too. And I like that too. Is because whenever my homilies are always, almost always based, directly in the scripture.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The exception being like funerals or weddings, it's based more on the event, or sometimes even like Christmas, it's based on the event rather than perhaps the readings themselves. But yeah, sometimes I don't show my cards early on, hoping that people are following me and wondering, why are you talking about this?
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
I kind of had that. You were pulling me along, like, how did we get to chastity? Did I miss something in the second reading? What? And then the pearl of great price came around, so it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, anything else? What else have we? Any other joy? We talked about joys.
Yeah,
and,
my joy was going to be that I received that letter from the mother. So
very
there's my
good.
joy. Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a couple of joys on Saturday. So I baptized my daughter of my nephew and niece-in-law. That was a great joy. So little Lillian has been received into the church through baptism. And then I had a wedding for Anthony and Katie Fortino I was at Our Lady of Sorrows, and that's I've known Anthony since I figured this out. Well, someone explained it. Someone told me that I was there for his first communion as a seminarian. Mm-hmm. So I was there at Curie of Ars as a seminarian, and then I was there for 4 years as a priest. So I was there. That class, I guess, would be the only class I was there for First Communion and confirmation, and then now the marriage. So it was pretty neat to celebrate that day. So I've known him for 19 years, and Katie I've known for about as long, not about as long, but for quite a while, because they were dating a little bit in high school, so I saw them around at their house and everything. So, but those were a couple of joys on Saturday to be able to celebrate those sacraments, one with the family and one with old time people I've known for a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
I like to, that's one of my favorite things. So one of my favorite things to do is to celebrate weddings for people that I've known for a long time. That's one of my favorite blessings, joys of priesthood. I mean, obviously all weddings are wonderful, beautiful.
Right.
But some couples we just don't know very well because it's what we do. It's our job, right? So people come to the priest and I want to get married. And, yeah, great.
And for whatever reason, you don't have as many meetings with them as you would. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but I enjoy doing those weddings as well. So, but there's a particular joy, like when for my sisters that I got to do their wedding for, or for Anthony, and so I've thought about doing they've got to be in my top 10 list of combined years of knowing each other before the wedding. Mm-hmm. So that's 19 for Anthony and probably about 8 or 10 for Katie. Mm-hmm. So 28 years or something of combined knowledge. That's up in the top 10 of knowing couples. My sister wins because she got, how old were you, Kathleen, when you got married? And then Jason, we used to carpool with at Mosby Hart. So, I mean, they got 60 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they
can't compete with that.
So, yeah. So, all right. Anything else? Any other joys that you have? We try to talk about a joy each week that we've had over the past week. So those are our joys.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's it for the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Website meeting is happening now, and our website theoretically launches on Saturday. So we're excited
so
about
please
that.
pray for us that we get all the connections right.
gsshawnee.org. You can go see the old one for a couple more days, and then
take a picture of it.
Screenshot.
If you want, we can sign it or burn it, whatever you'd like.
All right. Do you have that music lined up again to take us out?
Sure.
Can we take us out with that fun dance music?
I have the
again?
Pinky and the Brain up right now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Hey, here we go. I don't know where it is.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Last Summer. I think that's what it was called.
So thanks so much for watching, and
No, that was the Asian one. Oh no, we're okay. All right.
Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next week, Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe Thursday if we can get John here or whatever. But he
Right.
might be on the stay
We'll
with
have to
us.
figure this out.
So, all right. Take care.
Thank you all very much.
I like the screw. It's kind of terrible and kind of